you started.
There you go.
What is up, guys?
Who is the YouTuber that goes, "Hey, what's up, you guys?"
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is T-Grind. This video is kind of rushed because this nerf happened a little bit faster than we thought it was going to. I wasn't expecting this nerf to happen until at least tomorrow or Thursday of next week, but here we are. But yeah, so I'm going to be trying to cram as much information in as quickly as I can. So here we go. Just in case you guys don't know what was changed on the weapons, the DMR-14 and the Type 63, the marksman rifles, they both got reduced headshot damage. So now both of them are 3 shots to the head. I don't know what their body shot damage is yet, but we'll figure that out eventually. And they both got increased recoil. Now again, this update went live today, January 6th on Wednesday. I streamed today. I didn't know the nerf was live, and I could feel a difference in the DMR. Some people are saying it's really not that bad. I think it's pretty bad. All right, the Mag Daddy was nerfed as well. This one only got a headshot multiplier nerf. Before it was like an 80% increase, and now it's a 40% increase, so pretty significant. But with damage at range not being decreased, this weapon's still gonna be really viable. Oh yeah, and the Diamatti pistols, you know, Rafrica Part 2, those have been nerfed as well. They got an increased hipfire spread and decreased damage at range. Now the single Diamattis are still really powerful, so if you find one for ground loot, I would hold on to it. It's still going to be really good. Now, are these weapon nerfs going to take these weapons out of meta? Honestly, probably not. But what it does do is it opens the door for all these other weapons to sneak their way into meta. Let's talk about what some of those weapons might be. Alright, now real quick before we get into the weapons, a lot of time gets put into these weapons, whether it's recording, getting gameplay footage, or all the stuff that happens off camera like research or leveling up the weapons in multiplayer for Warzone. So if you're enjoying it so far, I highly encourage you to leave a like, it really helps me out. Alright, I'm going to start off by telling you some weapons that have potential to make it into meta, and then after that, I'm going to give you my top 2 or 3 picks. So let's get into it. FFAR ground loot has been terrorizing Warzone. Every time I find one on the ground, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I can win any engagement. This thing melts, especially when you put it in a loadout. Now, I do have 2 gripes about it. 1, it doesn't have the movement or ADS speed as an SMG. Even with the right attachments, it's really hard to make this gun feel fast. ADS speeds are a little slow, sprint to fire time's a little slow, sprinting speed is a little slow. But if you use the patrol grip, this is going to increase your sprint move speed. This is going to help you out a little bit. Also, something else you could do is instead of running the reinforced heavy, because this is going to slow down your sprint to move speed, you could run the task force barrel, which is going to give you even more increased damage, but it's going to greatly increase that horizontal and vertical recoil, which brings me on to my other gripe. This thing cannot shoot at far ranges for shit. The recoil is just so jumpy. It is so hard to control. Even with all of my attachments devoted to controlling recoil, it still couldn't do it. So if you're going to pair this up with like a sniper, as I would, you have to start getting used to sniping at medium ranges as well, because this thing is not going to kill people at medium range. But this thing absolutely melts at close range. I jumped into a plunder match. I was beating guys with Mac 10s. I was beating guys with shotguns. So you guys need to start watching out for this one. Alright, the AMAX. I'd be surprised if this weapon wasn't in the new meta. Now this weapon wasn't used much before the merge, but that's basically because it was a baby AK. It was a little bit weaker, but the recoil was a little bit better. People just felt like they were better off using like the Kilo or the Growl. But this thing hits like a truck. It's like the AK with that high damage per shot, but it's a little bit faster fire rate and a little bit better recoil control. Now, with that being said, the recoil is a little too rough to use like a 2x or a 3x on it, but you can still hit those medium range shots. All right, and the Groza. I don't really know where to put this weapon. It's an AR that wants to be a sub, kind of like the FFAR, but slower fire rate, but the recoil is a lot easier to manage. I'm not a big fan of the iron sights on this weapon, so you're probably going to want to put an optic on it. But if you put the rest of your attachments towards recoil control and movement speed, I think you're going to have a good success rate with it. If you like the FFAR but have a hard time with the recoil, level up the Groza, give it a shot. The purple blueprint ground loot, which is the one I'm using in this gameplay, is pretty nutty in itself, so I can't imagine if you were to make a loadout yourself with this weapon. Alright, Gallo 12, here we go.
Could you tell me right quick, what would be better motor for my Skyline, a Gallo 12 or a Gallo 24?
I've been seeing a lot of people run this in Warzone lately, but I'm personally not the biggest fan. It feels too much like the Origin post patch, where you have to be right up in somebody's face for it to be effective. Like, don't get me wrong, the gun's great for building clearing, but if you're in like medium length hallways or buildings with a lot of open area, you're better off running a sub. Also, the individual shell reload animation can kind of mess you up if you're fighting more than 3 people or if you're getting pushed by multiple teams. All right, Stoner's up next.
Hey, you wanna get high, man?
I'm sorry, that was a bad joke. The Stoner, the baby minigun, the Bruin 2.0. A lot of people have been saying things about this weapon, but not a lot of people are using it. Why is that? I got you. When Bruin was in meta, not a lot of people enjoyed running it. I didn't enjoy it, my buddies didn't enjoy it, and the reason why we don't like this weapon is it's so slow. It takes away from that whole W key mentality. You run slow as hell, the ADS time slow as hell, the recoil is a little rough. I'd say it's better than the Bruin, but man, you are so slow with this thing. It feels like you're running with a jug suit. So if you're someone who likes to play the slower game, like to camp on top of buildings or hold angles, definitely check out this gun. If you're someone who likes to be aggressive and push everything, try these attachments. If you're running these, the ADS movement speed is almost as fast as your normal walking speed. When you're strafing and shooting, the weapon sway is worse than the recoil. So yeah, if you liked the Bruin, try this one out. The R9 shotgun might make a little bit of a comeback. The Ram 7 might make a little bit of a comeback. Honestly, that's probably what I'm gonna run with my sniper. It's just a little bit more accurate and slower shooting version of the FFAR. All right, now I hate to say it, the Kilo's probably not coming back into meta. The time to kill at range is just terrible now. It's like a pea shooter. Now, if you're at closer range, that time to kill isn't terrible, but there's a lot of better weapons out there. If you want to use a weapon like the Kilo, I'd say you're better off using the Grau 5.56 or the M13. But just like with the Kilo, with either of those weapons, you're going to be outgunned close range. But the recoil control is so much better. You'll be able to hit those shots at longer range. Now, this is something I wasn't expecting. The Cold War MP5 is probably going to move into meta. While the recoil is still pretty rough, its time to kill is just insane. Since it's a submachine gun, your movement speed and strafe speed are already going to be really high. You mix that with the right attachments, this thing honestly might take over the meta just like the Modern Warfare MP5 did. Oh, by the way, the Modern Warfare MP5, still very usable, but I would recommend just using the Cold War MP5. All right, that's it. That's my list. So what's going to happen with old meta weapons? The DMR, the MAC-10, the Diamatti pistols. So the DMR didn't get nerfed enough. It's still very powerful. I'm still getting outgunned by it sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised if another patch comes out to either increase recoil or maybe reduce damage at range even more. The MAC-10 honestly is about in line with all the other subs. I might still run it, I don't know. I kind of want to switch over to something a little more. The MAC-10 is still very viable for close range. You can't use it as that medium range submachine gun anymore. The Diamatti pistols, I think they're done. I have been winning more and more engagements against those things at close range, medium range, it doesn't matter. And I feel like people are going to give them up real quickly. But the single Diamattis, like non-akimbo, they're still really good. The ground loot ones shred. I would pick one of those up over like the Milano. So if you're running a class and you need Ghost, equip that as your secondary. It's still going to be good, but don't make it akimbo. And that's about all I got. If you guys think I missed something or you disagree with me on a weapon, let me know in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. Seriously, I kind of want to see where the meta is going. Also, I wanted to thank Simon and Mike for all the artwork on the channel. These guys are great at what they do, and they've helped me out so much already. They do everything from painting, drawing, they make logos. So if you need a professional logo at a fair price, go check them out. Their Instagrams are linked down below. Take 2 minutes out of your day. Go show them some love. If you guys haven't already, consider subscribing. And join my Discord if you want to talk with me one-on-one or you want to play sometime. Link in the description. This was T-Grind. Talk to you guys soon.